Come on.
Just had to make sure I had my push to talk on OBS.
It's still showing you offline, but you're online at the same time. Get it? There it goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, give me a second.
Alright, it's showing live. I've got the volume muted, so don't worry about it. And now all we just gotta do is wait for you to get some picture up. We'll open the files. Why are you going in game?
Because I don't have a way to just play a video, it won't capture it unless I uh, play it
Change your source.
as a media. Yeah, I did. I was messing around trying to the whole time trying to get my starter video, my opener, going. I can do it, and I
Do
have
you
it.
have VLC Media Player?
Uh, Probably not. I did at one
Download it
time.
real quick. Because you can link it to literally capture your VLC and play any of your episodes with that, and it'll just register that and play it. VLC video source. Put that on there.
Yeah, I have it. VLC Media Player.
Okay. Play a video with that. Have a source as VLC video capture. Should catch it.
Oh, why is it loading Microsoft Edge? Maybe I don't have it. I did have it at one
Huh.
time. I usually get it with the CCCP. The Combined Community Codec Pack.
Expange is going to join us while we're prepping here.
User was moved to your channel.
Welcome, Sponge.
Hello.
Hey, Spange.
Oh, we're still setting up.
Cool.
I can't get it to work on my end. You only got one display, right?
Who? What?
Oh, I'm talking to Magic. Magic, do you only have one display, or do you have two?
I have two.
Okay. Do display capture. Put the video playing on the one display and just capture that one.
I can, but it literally blocks the video.
What do you mean? You. There we go. I got mine working.
That on.
Blaze. Yeah, works just fine.
Have I got 5 minutes, Wolf?
Hurry.
Okay. Okay, 4.5 minutes.
Somebody needs to organize his icons. Riley's here. What's up, Riley? Say hi, Magic.
Hi, Magic. Oh, you mean Riley?
Said hi.
Hi, Riley.
Oh yeah, I see.
He's in the stream chat.
No. Ah, in the stream chat.
Yeah, they're still getting set up here. It'll be about maybe 5 more minutes when we get started. What are you doing, Magic? Do I want to know what that is? It's because it's not suited for it.
It's because Twitch, when this game was made, Twitch didn't even exist.
I know. Just put up an Empyrean episode and let's rock on. It's not going to get any bigger because the game can't it can't scale to it. Then it'd be all blurred, pixeled. Wasting time. Just put up an Empyrean video.
See, now if I was capturing that window directly, then it would. I gotta wait until VLC is finished downloading.
Well, not if you're using display capture. You could just run a video; it'll capture it. It's that simple.
Right, I'm gonna have to disappoint, mate, because the wife's about to put dinner on the table, so I'm gonna have to go.
All right, buddy.
Sorry, but I
Cool.
will see you later.
Well, jump back in when you're done.
Will do.
User disconnected from your channel.
Well, I guess we can go ahead and get started while you're setting all this up. Or I should say, figuring it out. Oh. Yeah, make it bigger. All right, well, while you sort that out, getting it figured out, I'm going to go ahead and get us started here. So we only got an hour, because you said you got to leave by 2:30 anyway, so if we don't start now, we're not going to be able to get started at all.
Right?
3, 2, 1, recording. Hey guys, welcome back to another Wolves community blog. And today we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of things. The way we've been working on the server, the changes we've been making, the things we've been designing, and all that good stuff. We're going to be discussing the this week's showcase of the sneak peek of the style of ships that we will be using. Apparently, on that topic, there's been a little bit of confusion of
All right, I'm gonna start
what the
recording for
showcase
the
is.
time lapse.
Like I said in the first one, it's just a sneak peek for you guys to see what kind of things are coming. And by no means were any of those ships actually complete or finished. They were quickly beautified by Wallenstein, so that way we could just show them off for you guys real quick. But they are not the finished product. That's not what's going to be released on the server itself. The whole design is basically the same as is what's coming. But like I said, it was just a sneak peek, an idea of what was coming. I figured I'd throw that out there for you guys to see. One of the other things about it, what's coming is we have. I don't want to give away too much about what's going on because it's going to be epic. It's going to be awesome. A lot of the guys have been redesigning wrecked versions of our ships, and those are going to be the starting locations, the starting bases that will be used when you first log into the server as a fresh character. So no more escape pods. You're not falling down from the sky anymore. You're going to literally start in your wrecked ship that you basically came to the solar system in. Our playfield count has been drastically cut back. The other map was beautiful. It was a lot of fun. It was interesting, and it was big. This map is still big. The difference is the amount of playfields we have has been literally sliced down. There's only 4 main playfields, and each playfield has what we've designed, a Jupiter-sized planet, basically. It's a nightmare world where all the main resources are. Our mining is completely changed to you have to have mining rights by building a mining facility in order to mine on these planets. You can't physically mine deposits. You can use auto miners on those deposits. But in doing so, you make your mining facility, you start your auto mining operation, and you go around the planet and you mine the asteroids, the meteorites that have fallen down to the planet. So that's how you get your resources. So everybody's going to be fighting over these planets to get the daily resources you need, because these are the everyday resources we use. The only easy resource that everyone has from the very beginning is iron. It's on every homeworld. So there's 4 homeworlds, then the 4 main play fields, which have the Jupiter-sized planets that have the most beautiful landscape. Let me tell you, it turned out amazing. But they're gloomy, dark, dangerous. You will actually be required, in order to survive on that planet, maxed out armor. You have to be in heavy armor. You have to have, I'm not going to tell you which boost you have to survive. You have to figure that out yourself. I almost gave something away. That's not nice.
Oops.
Now, around the Jupiter planets, like in real life here, we have our solar system. So our playfield is a solar system. Then you have the Jupiter-sized planet, which has moons orbiting it. Satellites. Those satellites on our playfield, which there's 2 orbiting these Jupiter-class planets, are the other planets in the solar system. So you have 4 main orbital bodies orbiting the sun. Outside of those is the 4 homeworld planets orbiting the sun. So the homeworlds have the moons, and the Jupiter planets have the satellites, which are the other planets. Those other planets house the normal resources that you get all the time. For instance, in the Freelancer territory, Promethium is going to be on the satellite planets to the Jupiter one, and Pentaxid's going to be on the Jupiter planet. If I'm not mistaken, that's how we lined that one up. What else we got? What else have we been working on right now, Magic?
Meteors.
Oh.
Tons and tons of meteors that haunt us in our sleep.
Literally. I was actually having nightmares about them last night, and I kept waking up and angry. My wife even told me this morning, you better not work on the server today, because you better be sleeping tonight when we go to bed. And I woke up probably every half hour as if I was working on the server and changing the code and stuff, so that way we can get this to work right. And I would just I'd wake up just growling in anger, and my wife would be like, "What's wrong? What's going on?" I'm like, "Nothing. I think nothing. I had a nightmare." It's just going to sleep. So, I mean, that's just a hint to you guys of how much work actually goes into developing these servers the way we do. We don't just slap it together and say, "Go have fun." We create them so we can have fun. It's actually to what we want in the long run for how we want our server to look and feel and our gameplay to actually enjoy this wonderful game that the developers have created. I love that they've given us the ability to do this with their game and just make these beautiful universes, these solar systems, and have these great play fields. I mean, I designed the asteroid fields myself, and it took days to do it, and just to get it to the right point, being able to put the coordinates in for each individual asteroid itself and the resources and everything. It was a pain in the butt, but man, when it was done, it was amazingly gorgeous. I love the way they turned out. I made it look like planets fell apart. So when you warp into the asteroid fields, you actually look at this asteroid field, and it looks like a planet just literally fell apart. So it's got the spherical fog in the middle with layers of the asteroids just chunked in this giant sphere, and then a ring around that, and then some little debris out around that. So it actually looks like planets broke up, like there used to be a planet there at one point. And I'm extremely proud of it, believe me. It was a lot of work, but it turned out amazing. Deadly, but amazing.
Looks pretty good too.
I mean, I've made it so dangerous at this point, might have to scale it back. There's actually 6 AI carriers patrolling this thing at all times. There's 3 freighters always going across it, and there's over 200 drones. And I'm not talking about the little wussy ones. I'm talking about the new upgraded ones. It's not an easy play field, but it's the way we're setting up the asteroid field. You know how we got the 4 around the sun before, and the other in season 4. In season 5, it's going to be the same thing. You get the 4 asteroids. It's like an asteroid ring around the sun. So you have the 4 playfields. You can go once a week. The resources will reset themselves. They'll regenerate, and you can go and get any resource there. That helps to make sure that people that aren't on the same time frame as us can actually still be able to go get resources that they want and need without having to go to war with another faction to get it, especially if there's no one to trade with online. So it creates a balance, and that was definitely worth it.
I thought of a new trader today too.
What's that?
A seedling trader. I wanted it to be one of those what are they called? Those guards, those plant guys. But you can't set those guys to be traders. But yeah, just setting up one of the NPC traders to sell plants and calling them like Talon Guard plants or something like that.
Interesting. But wouldn't that negate you have to go find these on the planets that they come from?
Well, you would have to buy them with credits. I mean, it wouldn't be. They don't just give them to you.
Oh, right. We'd have to test that one out in order to see, because I think that would negate the. Why would anybody have to go get them then? They just go get their money and buy them. They'd never have to go to any of these other worlds and find them.
Yeah, but that's true with pretty much any resource in the game at the moment.
True. Well, if you want anything in abundance, resource-wise, you have to go get it. Nobody's going to be tell you that much. Well, that's why there's definitely going to be conflicts on all the planets.
That's why the seeds would sell for a hefty penny, because honestly, you only need 1 of each, and you can just make seeds of those. So what you do is you sell them at an incredible amount.
A ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
I guess that could make sense. He can only sell you 1. There can only be 1.
Well, and I can set that up too, to where he only has 1 in stock.
Why not? Give it a try. See what get creative with it. See what comes out of it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we just remove it. I mean, not that big of a deal. What else did we do with these Jupiter? They are like I was explaining earlier about them. They are definitely a hardcore world to try and survive on. You can't survive on the outside, and during the daytime, nobody can survive on those planets. You can't be out working and doing stuff during the daytime unless you're in your vehicle. So your vehicle, you definitely want to make sure you have plenty of O2 supply because you can't get out of it or you're dead in 30 seconds. You can actually get out, work, and do things at night though, but only during the peak time during the nighttime. So you only get a couple hours at night where you'll actually be able to run around and do work and stuff like that on the planet itself outside of your vehicle if you wanted to. So any base building of building the facilities would be done in the peak evenings of the nighttime.
You don't
When
like
the-
ones.
when the planet's coldest. So night vision is going to be a must on these planets. Because
Someone's house
the daytime temperature is around 320 degrees. Nighttime temperature is negative 160. So when the sun comes up and the sun goes down, the temperature fluctuates greatly. Which actually goes with the theme of the planet too. It's a Jupiter world, you know. It's insane. But it with the appropriate gear, it's definitely possible. It works out just fine. I was testing it out yesterday with the different temperature variations, and I actually got out of my little building I had, my little base, went outside during the daytime, and I died in 30 seconds. And I was like, wow, okay, that works. And then when night fell, I went out and started working again, and I was fine. I was actually able to finish building up some stuff and doing things. And when I had to make sure I was back at my base in time before the sun came up, or else I was dead again. It's definitely a barren landscape. It has lava for water, and we just added if I'm not mistaken, Magic did it last night. He added the geysers to the planet to add to the theme of it. Yep. There's always falling meteorites. So there's only 2 weather patterns on this planet: falling meteorites and radiation fog. We're getting rid of everything else. And lightning's always striking on the planet, so the skies are always beautiful. The wind speeds are just amazing. The clouds are just flowing around the planet. Like if you were looking at Jupiter right now, then you see the clouds just swirling around the planet. That's all you see when you're on this planet 24/7 is the sky just flying past you with these lightning strikes everywhere. It's amazing.
Did you tell them how big the planets were? And how we broke the rules?
I have not. Go. You could explain that one.
So there was a spot in the playfield file itself, the planet file itself, that said "Do not touch," and you know, of course, I had to touch it.
We touch everything.
And so I doubled the size of the planet. So when you actually go to the planet, it's the largest planet in that sector, and it's huge. It's so huge the map doesn't even really work right. Like if you rotate the map, it kind of glitches out and won't show you the entire map.
Well, that's not true anymore. Every time I go in, after it loads, it's fine.
Well, if you've been loading the recent Titan file, it won't do that because I shrank it back down.
No, I'm talking about the old one.
Oh.
Once it loads, you're fine. After you get past that first load, it works just fine. It doesn't glitch out like that anymore.
Maybe I just need to run around the planet because it was I was just jumping on the planet to get the darn meteors to work.
But these planets are 3 times bigger than the play fields that you guys play on. So there's no planet out there like them. It's awesome. And we've been having a blast playing with it. Everything it said we can't touch, we had to touch this time. We touched them all. We touched everything.
We were only able to do 2 times because remember when we did 3 times it crashed every time.
No, it was 4 times it crashed.
No, 3 times it crashed. 2 times it worked. Because it was at 3 times the size, the planet was so big you could not warp into the sector without already being in the atmosphere.
Right, I remember now. You're right. You're absolutely right. Because as of right now, when you warp in, you're already at the edge of the planet. You're staring at this thing in your face. It's like you're already in orbit.
Yeah, if you can't even get into the sector, you got to do something.
Okay, so when you come into the playfield, it looks like it's 3 to 4 times bigger, but it's only 2 times bigger than the other planets.
Yep.
2 times bigger is big, believe me.
Oh yeah.
The one thing we're going to be working on, probably today, is what we're going to be working on. Is changing up the POIs, making custom groups for ourselves that we're going to set up. We're going to nitpick between all the POIs and get rid of all the old ones and only use the new ones. So we're going to be probably in a bad mood again, have nightmares tonight, but tonight it's all about to be about POIs. That's our next hump that we have to get through. Because the new ones are harder. I like that. The old ones, too easy.
Well, I want to eventually just replace all of them with our own custom.
Well, that would be nice too. Which, actually, we can get some of the guys to start building them. That would be awesome. I can't wait until we actually finish release and we can record our first episode, guys. Isn't even going to be the standard gameplay. We got Haladmir to build us a challenge base. Something that we should not be able to accomplish without lots of hard work and lots of loss. So he built Hal's House of Pandemonium. And that's going to be our first episode. Is we're going to get our normal gear from the old Battlefield episodes. We're going to take that and we're going to assault this thing and we're going to try and see if we can actually make it. Now, we're not going to do a normal recording of it. We're going to live stream it because it's going to be longer than 30 minutes. I do not put up episodes that are hours long if I can help it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of excitement. This thing is really interesting looking. He did a great job with it, and I can't wait to test it out. I'm even going to be trying to make sure we can schedule it around the time so that way Hal can actually be there. We can record his accomplishment of giving us something hard to do. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for that. I'll try and see if I can mention exactly so you guys know when the live stream will be, so you guys can actually be there during the live stream if you want to be. And no matter what, it will be recorded and it will be on my YouTube page along with the other guys as well.
I've actually been purposely avoiding that one single POI every time I work on the planets to test something out, just because I don't want to spoil it.
Just go look.
Well, just from the outside,
so many times.
Looking at the outside, it's like, oh man, that is, yeah, that it's definitely our normal tactics are not going to work on this thing at all.
Now the beauty of it is out of homage to Haladmir, we have it on every single planet for all of our play fields, so everybody has a chance to be able to play with this thing. It regenerates every day, just like all the rest of them. So that way, everybody gets a chance to play with this thing and show it off for one and see what they can do. This thing is definitely going to be a challenge. I can't wait to play with it. It's
definitely definitely intimidating, especially when you're flying around and you come up on this thing and it's like, oh, I'm gonna go the other way. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with that.
Yeah, you're not going to come in with Hal's House of Pandemonium.
Yeah, we should talk him into.
Shows up on the map as.
Yep. It actually shows up with his name. It says Hal's House of Pandemonium.
We should talk him into making a smaller one and call it Hell's House of Pancakes.
Have him design our freaking trading outposts. Have him restaurants. But yeah, we definitely should get some of the guys together and have them start building their own POIs, and we actually use those. That would be interesting. As long as it's not like the one Jason the Disturbed made with actual player-made turrets and things. That was insane. Which actually, guys, that's the footage you guys are seeing whenever you look at the blogs on my recording side. Is us actually assaulting a player-made POI designed to give us a challenge. And let me tell you, it was definitely a challenge. And if you notice by watching the video in the background here during the blogs, yeah, we never win. As a matter of fact, half of the guys gave up and ran away.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of rage quitting that day.
Just a little bit. What else have we tweaked so far in the play fields? Starting to get brain dead.
Well, we're trying to do some of the creatures. And unfortunately, we can't get some of the creatures to spawn. Like they're just not world spawn creatures at all. So they won't. They'll spawn in POIs, but they won't spawn in the world, which kind of bums me out because these planets should be infested with aliens that have guns. But other than that, I mean, I think we pretty much covered it. Other than, of course, the colors, some of the aesthetics, the decorations. We've messed with. But
Yeah, that's the one thing that's bugging me is that I've been trying to get the what are they called? Turret droids or mechanoid drone, mechanoid turrets. I can't know. Turret mechanoids or whatever. I've been trying to get those things to spawn on the planet for the past couple of weeks, and I can't get them to work. And I want those things patrolling the planets. They're in the bases, and they're amazing. They would be awesome as like planetary patrols because they walk around on the ground. And I would have them walking around in like groups of 6, so that way when you're going around the planet, you come across these mechanized drones that just shoot you with lasers. And I've been trying to get the Xenu to spawn on the planet. If any of you guys know how to do that, please contact me. Let me know. Put it in the comments section. Share it with the world. That way we can have some more fun. Because these planets definitely need to be more of a challenge than floating drones.
And if any of the devs are watching or anybody that knows one of the devs that are working on this game, please give us mod support. Mod support would be amazing for this. One of the benefits of having mod support in one of your games is, put up the stipulation, okay, here's the modding API, but if we like a mod that you make, we may take it and use it in the game. And reserve, of course, all game assets and rights, for, Empyreon.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Just to be able to keep going with what we're doing and keep creating these awesome games for everyone to enjoy.
Oh yeah, and there's there's a couple tweaks here and there that we run across that'd be like, all it would take is maybe a couple hours in a modding API, and we could actually implement these new things like the trading system. The trading system, the core default trading system really doesn't work for what we do. We kind of make it work, but honestly, with a modding API, we could make it to where it's better suited for our server and for our players.
Right? And, I mean, the other side to it is if you got all of the other people out there doing the work for you, and they actually make it work the way you actually intended it to work, where you didn't have the time to put it in, well, they just did the work for you for free. And now you got what you actually wanted to have to add to the game, and you didn't even have to worry about doing it anymore, and you still get all the credit.
Yep. Minecraft did it.
I mean, we're never going to stop
shall not be named
developing these servers. We're never going to stop and creating content that we do when it comes to our planets and these solar systems and the things that we change. And the developers are more than free to come and use what we've done and use it for themselves. And they don't even have to mention us if they don't want to. I'd prefer them to do so and give credit where credit is due. But, it's their game. They can do whatever they want. We're here to have fun and enjoy it. And then provide the content for you guys to enjoy watching. Or even participate if you wanted to. You can always join us in our server and have fun yourselves. Add to the variety of content that we do. Become a faction leader and become the rich, soulless, corporate, democratic jerk that you want to be and say, I'm just going to buy your ship. Go away.
Or a piratical tyrant.
Or a maniacal nomad.
That's my job.
I mean, our server is definitely a work in progress every day. It's never going to stop being, I guess you can call it an alpha state, because we're always changing. We're always growing, adapting, and building and creating new stuff and having to change the rules to go with it to make it work so it stays working and balanced. Our whole community is based off of balancing our gameplay so we can get the most out of it. Because we don't want to miss out on an aspect of anything, from the survival aspect of the game, to the trading aspect of it, to the building of these massive, beautiful ships that everybody loves playing with. from the 5.5 to the 6.0, we actually have implemented
User joined your channel.
a turret limit to it. We're going to be downgrading the amount of turrets that are allowed on vessels depending
User
on size.
disconnected from your channel.
Somebody
was
popped in.
disturbed.
That was disturbed, yeah.
He came in. I think he DC'd.
There's it coming again.
User joined your channel.
Well, welcome back, Disturbed.
He had problems. Make your mic. Disturbed.
But the reason why we're implementing the turret limits is because of the stutter you get when you have too many firing at once, which I'm sure you guys have seen in the trade episode we did with the pirates, where we actually had a battle with the pirates and the freelancers and the military police, which was awesome. We enjoyed doing it. It was fun. But you still had this little bit of stuttering and freezing here and there, so we're downgrading the turrets, and hopefully that deals with it.
Yeah, when a ship fires and the server stops, there's a problem.
Now, there's a problem when the Valhalla comes out and it fires once and everyone gets DC'd.
Mm-hmm.
And then when everybody logs back in, the only thing left is the Valhalla.
So we're having turret limits now? Or
Yes.
new turret limits? What do we got on those?
Ordered Lilacs.
It's going to be more to the standard, believe it or not. The only difference is, like, the artillery cannons, the limit on those is actually going to be higher.
Uh-huh.
So you can still have 6 artillery turrets on your ship, because they're slow rate of fire, they don't cause lag issues and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But other things you'll probably only be allowed of, like 6 laser turrets, maybe 8 flak turrets, depending on the size of the vessel. But every vessel has to undergo an inspection before it's allowed to be used.
Uh-huh.
So if they pass inspection, then they're good to go and can continue just buying more and more from Wally if they want to keep using the same one.
So make a little cube with a lot of guns.
Will be instantly kicked from the server, yes.
I'm still going to make a bunch of Rubik's Cubes just to annoy you. You know that.
As long as there's no guns on it, I'll let you have it. If you want to fly around in cubes that are defenseless, I'll actually allow it.
See, if you make a Rubik's Cube,
No.
but like somebody's twisting it, you know, then it's not technically a cube.
If it contours to an unimaginative box pixelated design, it will be in violation.
I don't know if pixelated would be a good word because almost everything can be pixelated.
My mind is pixelated.
This is very true. Just look at his avatar.
Would a three-dimensional hashtag pound sign would that be pixelated?
That would be
Oh
interesting.
God, pixel art. That's just what we need.
I had a pixel art head
You
in
shall be
my.
vanquished by SpongeBob.
No, not SpongeBob.
Don't even bring that topic up with me.
Join the pirates and fly around in a gigantic SpongeBob.
Oh, if someone did that, it'd be my goal to destroy that ship. I'd be hell bent on it.
every
They'd be like, "But
every one of SpongeBob's holes has a gun.
I think at that point in time, it would probably be the only ship on the server that would suddenly get the complete destruction of ship rule, except for this one.
Right? It's like, hey Wolf, look what I built. Hey, why'd it blow up? It's gone.
No questions asked. No comments made.
Used for target practice repeatedly.
Right?
The mercenaries have just been hired.
so who are we gonna have do the inspections on these new ships with turrets and all that stuff?
Admins.
Okay. Now, how are we going to go about handling it if one admin says it's good and another admin says he doesn't like it?
That's when I get involved.
Okay. So, if there's an issue between admins, Wolf can come in and make the final call?
Yep.
All right.
We're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna keep it easy. We gotta have no arguments, no complaints. It's all gonna be the same when it comes to what is and what isn't. Like I said, it's gonna be based on size, shape, and design of the ship. If it's a massively large ship and it has 6 mounted guns in a circle thing, it looks like it's inset into a giant tube. It looks like a giant, massive cannon, and it's the size of the frigate or bigger, or the freighter MK4 or bigger, then it'll be allowed, kind of thing. And it's going to be able to have probably 6 artillery cannons, or excuse me, 4 artillery cannons, maybe 6 rocket launchers. Let's say flat cannons. You could probably get away with 6 to 8 of those, just depending on the size and how it looks and how it contours to it.
Right. Now, are we going to have limitations as far as like the ship's role, like if it's a freighter versus like a battleship and all that? Are we going to? Okay, now what are we going to do to implement someone from just building a huge, massive ship and saying, oh, well, that's my freighter ship right there. I have a bunch of cargo, but at the same time, it's my battleship. How are we going to stop that?
It's one or the other.
Right. I'm just saying because I can see someone making a battleship that has 200 cargo boxes in it, which
it would. It
defeats
would.
the purpose.
If it's a battleship, it's going to have cargo space. But they're just going to either have to do it one way or the other way. They're not going to get both options. You know, once they go for inspection, it's going to be either a combat vessel or it's going to be a cargo vessel.
Right.
There is no ifs, ands, or in between. It's like the freelancers won't have combat CVs. No matter which way you look at it, because that's not what they're there for. So they're not going to have these massive combat CVs. They're going to have defended freighters.
Right.
Because all they care about is making money. They don't care about it. If there's a military problem that needs to be taken care of in space, they're going to get protected by someone else.
Well, see, the way I was looking at it was I wouldn't build like an attack ship, like I'm going to build this for attack, but I'd build a ship for defense of the cargo ships.
Right.
That would have more
it's not going to be a
weapons.
Massive battleship, though.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I mean, it would be.
I mean, these are other things we
maneuverable...
definitely do need to discuss for sure. We need to keep discussing it because we need to, like Dream's been doing, is working on the rules list, so we have this nailed down to almost a science for every faction to look at. And like when we're talking in our community blog here, guys, it is a discussion. This isn't even stuff we're voting on yet. We're discussing these ideas so we know where we're going with it. Then it helps us get more ideas of like the role of the faction, what they can do, what they can't do, and stuff like that, so we can get these rules nailed down and tied down. So nobody should be taking this as it is the way it is when we're talking about new stuff, because it's not. You know, we never voted on it. We didn't talk about it. We didn't discuss it. But we when it comes to each faction, there's going to be a limit to types of builds.
Right.
Now, when it comes to ground units, on the other hand, it doesn't matter. You build to your heart's consent for battle because that's what it's there for.
Yeah.
You know, if you're fighting over a deposit, you need to have that ground assault vehicle to keep things going and defensible. Because you're waging war to keep your resources in your own faction before another faction gets it.
Right. Which is why I said that, you know, the ships that I would have would be more on the defense side versus offense, you know. They're not going to be able to, you know, go and take over every corner of the galaxy, but they're going to be able to, you know, keep you from moving through what I have.
Right. I mean, the way
at that point in time, you also make the.
Go ahead, Cal.
At that point in time, you need to make the distinction between what is an offensive weapon and what is a defensive weapon. Would you say artillery cannon, which would traditionally be an offensive weapon, would you say, well, it's covered in artillery cannons, but now it's a defensive ship?
See, I would say rockets would be more defense and artillery would be offense.
Right, I agree with that completely.
Yeah, okay, so if you have like a ship that's got rockets and say lasers or plasmas and miniguns, I mean, it's like those are all what I would consider defensive type weaponry. because they're not that powerful overall. But I mean,
Yeah.
you're not taking it into the heat of combat either. Like you're getting the F out of there. And that's all there is to it.
Right.
Like the way I see, let's say, space nomads and freelancer ships, is anything that's not a freighter is more like a blockade runner. It's not a massive ship, and it's not covered in guns, but it's well armored and has
Yeah.
defensive turrets on it, like rockets, flat cannons, laser turrets, so that way it can defend itself against the smaller vessels as it blockade runs through the other capital ships to get to the planets it's defending and fighting over.
Now, are we going to have any sort of armor limits to differentiate between an offensive and a defensive ship?
Yeah, if it's Wally, we don't want to hear your TV, man.
I don't think he's there.
I hate to do it, but I gotta mute him. Armor values, no matter what, you can make it as armored as you want, but with our rules around turrets, which keeps things fair for combat and doesn't make it go on for 10 years, like the thrusters have to be exposed or inset no more than one block. And you have to make sure you tell that's what thrusters are at. Like, make it look like if you got 6 thrusters on the back end and you put them inset and you got blocks on top of them, it needs to look like that's where the thrusters are at. That needs to look like a giant thruster then or something. So everybody knows that that's where your turrets are going to fire. The reason we're doing that is so no one is exploding cores or causing extra damage to ships and stuff like that. The whole point of our space combat is disabling the vessel so you can get the cargo. So the armor that you're putting on there literally is only protecting cargo or your generators and your cores and stuff like that. So I don't see people going nuts with armor like we were before, trying to protect thrusters by putting them behind 15 blocks of thick.
Well, and that's what I was, and that's why I was asking on armor limits on stuff like that, because I mean that's what we had in the past is I'm gonna wrap my core in 15 blocks of combat steel, and then their small ship is huge because they have to build around that armored core that they just did.
Well, since we don't have to worry about it, I don't see anybody having to worry about doing that. Because, I mean, there's nothing, our rules literally state that all turrets are only allowed to target mounted guns, turrets, and thrusters. So that's everything that's exterior on a ship. After that, your ship's disabled. It ain't moving. That's when the other people are going to board your ship and start blowing up your containers to steal your stuff. I mean, the first thing they're going to do is make their way to whatever crew is on that ship, kill them, take out the spawn point so you can't spawn back. And then now they control your ship. They're going to go blow up your cargo containers and steal whatever loot's in them. Because you can't destroy cores anymore.
Right.
And that the reason why we did that.
The only problem with targeting turrets. If you have any internal turrets on that ship, the mounted guns will continue to fire through the ship until they destroy those internal turrets. I know it's a crappy thing to have happen, but I mean, either you can't have internal turrets on your ship, or you have to deal with the fact that occasionally those turrets are not going to differentiate between a internal turret and your core.
So that's when we have to. That's when we fall back on the honor system that we have no choice of doing. People are just gonna have to know, turn them off once it's done. There's no thrust. It's not moving. There's no thrusters left. There's no turrets. You turn your turrets off so you don't finish blowing up the ship. Anyone that that violates our rules is gonna have problems. They always have. But we've never had that issue. Everyone that plays on the server has always played by the rules, and there's no complaints on that end. And hopefully it stays that way.
That's always been my biggest concern. Is I keep wishing that these guys would implement the line of sight for the turret, so that it can't target something it doesn't have a line of sight on.
I actually completely agree with that, because you shouldn't know where the core is at on a ship from the exterior just because your turrets are firing there. I mean, it doesn't make any sense why they're allowed to target something that would be internal on a vessel anyways.
Yeah.
But it's still a game. They're developing it, so hopefully they change that in the future into something set to line of sight. I can completely agree with that. Like, it wouldn't fire on the generators and cores unless they were exposed and able to be seen by them. Would be nice. Which actually somebody should go to the forums and post that on our thread. That would be a nice thing to add to it. But the reason why we implemented the no targeted cores or anything like that that's internal is because it takes away from the realism of the gameplay and the fun of it. After you disable the ship, you board the ship, and you can't destroy the core, so that way you can't just pop in your own and hit the P menu and then just take everything in one go. It'll take you time. You actually have to destroy each and every one of those cargo containers to get the loot that's in them. And if there's nothing in it and you blew it up, well, that was your time wasted on that one. It's more realistic. You're not in real life. You can't go into your house and then take everything out of every drawer just by opening up a P menu. So we're not going to allow it in game either.
Now, there's something I'd like to touch since we're on that menu. Since we can't use the P menu, which I'm in agreement with, and you have to go in and physically blow up the cargo containers, I think that if you have a hidden, quote unquote, room with cargo containers in there, there needs to be an accessible way to reach it without, hey, I just remove a block and replace a block and no one knows I have a cargo here. There should be a door or something leading to that, regardless of how you hide it. You want to put a farm in your ship and hide it behind a row of space durians, go for it. But I think there should be some accessible way through a door to get to those rooms.
Every item has to be accessible from the outside. It needs to be specifically designed. Even the Valhalla was designed where you can get to the core. You know where the freaking core's at, but you have to get past all the engine room and everything and go through all of the doors to get there first, which one would kill you by radiation alone, the way I designed the damn thing. So you would actually have to get past all that first, and then you go into this massive core room. You know where the core's at. You go to the end of the catwalk, and you just blast your way through, and then finally you get to the core. But you don't. We're not taking out cores. That's just an example. Everything has to have accessibility. Like if you were using it, because you're not going to go in real life and go through an imaginary wall and teleport everything in there. Teleportation does not exist yet. Sorry.
Right. Well, the only thing that I have against that is the buried cargo boxes and bases. What are the things that we're gonna have to be able to do is to hide stuff efficiently, and to bury it under the ground isn't. I mean, it's hiding it. It's not. When you get up to it, it's noticeable because of course the fill dirt has a different texture, but to be able to actually hide stuff, for that eventuality that you're going to get wiped out, you're going to lose your stuff, and you need something to fall back on. That's it wouldn't be like on a mining planet, but on the homeworlds.
Yeah, it would be on the homeworlds.
But that would be the only time where it wouldn't be out in the open, or at least accessible under normal means.
Everything has to be accessible through a doorway of some kind. I don't care how it is. If you run that risk no matter what. But how often are factions going to be invading each other's homeworlds? Like never.
Hopefully on a regular basis, because that's the way it's designed.
Right, but everybody's going to be fighting too much over the mining planets all over the place. And when it comes down to the homeworld side of things, it's going to be more random, by chance. And it has to be faction-wide, because you're not going to do it by yourself. So nobody's going to come online and be like, I'm gonna go attack the homeworld of the nomads today. No, it's not going to happen. They'd just be an idiot. But that's the point of everyone in the faction on homeworlds working together, though. Because you're going to be building these massive cities that are just stupidly defended. There is no limits when it comes to turrets and stuff on bases on planets on the homeworld, because just build to your heart's content and make it freaking amazing. Just don't build cubes everywhere. I'll go ballistic. So if you got yourself an underground bunker, you have to have a tunnel going down to this bunker of some kind, whether it's to an elevator or a pathway under the city that goes across the entire planet to 3,000 meters away, and then down this long tunnel, and then you finally get there.
Well, I'm not talking about something that you can just access with a P menu either. I mean, I'm talking about, building a base, putting down a cargo container, popping the core, and burying it. It would be like that rainy day fund kind of thing, not not something that you would readily access with a P menu and something that nobody else can get to, but something that you're literally burying away for safekeeping.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, it would be kind of stupid not to have a core there, though, because anyone that comes down, they can just place down a core and claim it.
Well, it'd be something that would be close to your base, but not part of your base, kind of thing. Or if you wanted it literally out in the middle of nowhere, and then bury it.
Now, one thing I did test yesterday is if you put down a core and you start a base and you take the core away, the base is still there. You can't exactly hide it. It'll always show up.
Oh, it will always show up?
Yeah, it will always show up. Even without a core. I tested it yesterday after we talked.
I had a problem with doing that on a single player game a while back where I built something, took the core out. It was basically a static object. Took the core out from it and I left the playfield. When I returned to the playfield, that object was gone. Now, I don't know if that has ever been fixed, but there is a chance that could happen if you pop a core and leave something like a chest or whatever out in the field.
It is set to remove. It was. I don't think it. I think I turned it off, but it used to be set that if it's not owned by somebody, it will disappear after a certain amount of time because it's like just space junk kind of thing.
Right.
It's a cleanup system that's been added to the game. I think back in 4.4 or 4.0. But it automatically removes anything that doesn't have a core after a certain amount of time. I thought I had it disabled, but maybe I didn't. Because I want the debris floating around. It's freaking cool when you come up to something. Ooh, guess what? This ship's been here. It's been floating here for a couple days. I'm gonna start tearing it apart. I'm gonna take it for myself and build me another little small vessel or another CV or something with it. Or take it back and continue building my city.
I think we have it set for like a ridiculous long amount of time.
I actually thought I had it set to 0. So that way it's not on.
It should be, actually.
Because as long as it's not on, I mean, we never lost our debris field, so it should be fine.
Right.
So are we going to have a set time on, like you said, on derelict ships floating around? Before we can scrap them, or?
No. Other than like when we were working on the movie parts on that scene there, that's the only time we were like, you can't touch this.
Right.
We still have to discuss the rules around it, how we're going to do it. Salvaging is not something we are going to have sorted out before we actually release the service. So for right now, there is no salvage rights of any kind.
Okay.
Until we all can actually get together and discuss it and actually figure out how to implement it, which way the rules would work, and get it down and nailed down to where there can't be any, well, the time wasn't up or this didn't happen and stuff like that. Because I'm not going to have things where people are going to come whining to me about issues. Sorry. I'm not doing that again. Unless we already have it figured out, it's not going to be allowed. We got to hash it out and figure it out first before we actually attempt to do it again.
So what if a player loses like a small vessel or something, and it's like there's nothing left of it, and they just abandon it, and you find it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you can have that. I don't want the thing." Would you be able to scrap it then if they say they don't want it?
It's like a trade deal. That's fine.
Okay.
I don't care. There's nothing to do with the gameplay mechanics aspect of it. So yeah, whatever. That's between players. It's like a trade deal.
Okay.
I mean, he could even try and sell it to you.
Right. Well, because I know sometimes
shoot me at 10,000 credits and it's yours.
Yeah. Well, a passenger chair, a light, and a handful of blocks and like a generator's floating out in space, and that's the remnants of a ship. A lot of people might not want to go back just to disassemble a handful of parts.
I mean, off the topic of the rules, if there's a hover vessel debris or small vessel debris sitting out there, I don't care. Just if there's no problems, then I'm not going to worry about the small stuff like that. I don't care about that. You come across it, you take it, whatever. I'm talking like the CVs and space stations and stuff like that. The big things that people put a lot of time and effort into, that's just a pain in the ass to have to worry about.
Right.
Yeah, that's the stuff people complain about. That's what I'm worried about. So when it comes to if you came across some small vessel debris that was left over from a battle, I doubt they would care. I wouldn't care. So yeah, take it, do whatever.
Okay. Does anyone know, like on the new update, you're not allowed to dig around POIs, but does that rule also apply to player bases?
It would only be like yeah, like you're not going to be able to dig under someone else's base if they're in a different faction.
Okay. So there is a little zone of protection around it then?
Yeah, because it's considered an enemy base, and you can't.
Okay.
POIs.
I kind of think that's kind of stupid, but good at the same time.
Right.
I like it because it's going to make people actually have to start using their dang hover vessels as tanks.
Uh-huh.
The POIs
Not
that
plus the foot
regenerate, there is you can't dig under them even after you pop the core. But the regular POIs that don't regenerate, you can dig under after you pop the core, but it's after you pop the core. So tunneling under a POI isn't going to be a viable strategy.
It'd be a waste of time
Right.
now, which is awesome.
Well, I was looking at it from the perspective of trying to take over a planet and trying to raid someone's base. You know, if they have, like, say, a tunnel system, could you breach the tunnel system, get into it, and access it from there? You know, raid them from, you know, a midpoint, or do you have to go through, like, a main entrance to raid them is what I was looking towards.
You're going to have to blast through their wall.
Yeah. Now, if they
Right.
start tunneling under their base and they tunnel out too far away from their perimeter, then yeah, you're going to be able to access that.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, so it's a distance off of the core itself is what
And
they
the
got
distance
protected.
from what I've seen from yesterday
Right.
when I was testing it out is not that far. I literally put a base and built it right next to an abandoned factory, the new ones, without a problem. I mean, I'm like literally next to it.
Okay.
I'm in firing range of it.
Well, it also depends too on how far they've built out. Like it's still like you still have about 200 blocks that you can build away from a core, and if you put 200 blocks in all directions, then your perimeter is going to be 200 blocks.
Right.
It's going to be interesting.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just got distracted. I'm watching you build this scooter.
That's a small vessel.
Like I said, scooter. I was looking at it like, what the heck? Building.
It's the Scooter Pooter 2000.
Scooter 2000.
Hey, Wolf Wally's trying to ask a question.
Oh. I forgot something. Hey, Wally, welcome back.
Old tied back. And I think why is not answering somebody.
I had to mute you because all I could hear was your background. I heard like the TV. It sounded like a soap opera, but I think it was actually your
No.
wife.
Yeah, my wife is on the phone. is talking with her daughter. How many mounted weapons we can use on ships?
Depends on the size and class, what it's used for. Freighters will probably have none. So basically, the freelancers are poo out of luck on that one.
What? They have luck on?
They're out of luck on that one. The way it's going to work is, okay, the gunboat, for instance, would be allowed 2 mounted laser turrets. Then you go up double the size of the gunboat, then you could have 4. Or 2 rocket launcher turrets, or excuse me, turrets, the mounted weapons. And then you double the size of that, then you can, it increases in size depending on what it's used for and how it's designed.
When I have a ship where I go with drilling, asteroids drilling,
there will be no mounted weapons on any of those kind of vessels. If it's got it, if a vehicle has drill turrets or is designed for mining purposes, it will have no mounted weapons whatsoever and very limited turrets. So you got to think.
Yeah, that
people are
falls
gonna have
back
to think.
into the defensive turret range again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're going to put a mounting laser on something and use it for mining, it's going to have probably only 6 turrets in all around the entire vessel, no matter how big you build it.
Oh.
So you got people are going to have to
That's
think
for
about.
that is for the pirates and for the merc. Then very easy to get this ship down.
Yeah,
That is not fair. No,
Oh, it's absolutely
no,
fair. So it's the
no,
same for them.
no,
I
no.
don't care what you say. It's not going to change.
It's
You're building ships for what they're built for.
It's specking the pirates and the Smurks. No. The pirates and the Mercs have more weapons than these ships. They're
They're
must
suffered by the
defend.
same restriction. They're suffered by the same restriction. If they're going to be mining in space, you're going to have a mining CV with a turret on it. It's not going to be all powerful. Sorry. Then you're going to have other people flying around you in vehicles that are there for combat to defend you. But we
Which
got to
is where
keep
the
it
group
balanced
play
somehow.
will come.
Exactly.
It's not my case. I do this.
That's where
not.
the hiring of the mercenaries comes in. Defend my ship, please.
Then I make the.
Yeah, I look at it the same way. I
antennas
mean, if
for-
I'm building a mining vessel like a planet cracker or something to tear down asteroids, I'm going to have a bunch of laser turrets or mining lasers on the mining arms, and I'm going to have like point defense turrets sitting on the outside. It's like, yeah, I got attacked by a drone, I got a minigun or something shooting at it, and that's all it needs.
Right.
You don't
It's
need
gonna
heavy
you'll
artillery to take down drones.
absolutely be not have problems with drones and stuff like that. I mean, it's going to be able to defend itself. That's not what we're saying. It's not going to be used for attack and assault. If you get attacked by a pirate, you're going to run. You're not going to sit there and try and fight it. That's just stupid. And that means
You can't sit there and ignore it either.
if we're going to allow every single type of vessel to have all kinds of guns, then what's the point? Everyone's just going to just be like, hey, I'm going to fight you because I can. I have no fear. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Yeah, I'm not going to carry you there. I'm just going to stop. It'd just be a waste of time.
Gotta have different classes of ships to do different things. Otherwise, everyone's just going to have the one almighty ship that can do everything.
Exactly. And that goes back to even the military faction. Not all of our ships are going to be able to be combat-oriented vessels anymore. Like the freighter, it's going to be cut down to defensive turrets only. Granted, it will still have its 4 artillery cannons in the middle because it's a big enough ship to be able to contort to that. But that's all it's going to have. Outside of that, it's going to have probably only 6 rockets launchers, and I hate the freaking laser turrets now. They lag up the servers. So I'll probably be using flak turrets on it. So it'll probably have 4 flak turrets. And that would be it. But the only reason it would have that many is because of the size of it. Now, if we go down to the one that you designed, your football player putting on the condom, that one would not have any artillery cannons. But it would have probably 4 rocket launchers and maybe 4 flat cannons, if that. Maybe 2 rocket launchers and 4 flat cannons because of the size of it.
Right.
And it's a trade vessel, so it's not going to have any offensive stuff to wage war with because you get attacked, you're running and defending yourself, not fighting a battle.
Right. Well, and I
designed
that one. I had designed that one to hold little SVs to, go put a buffer zone between that freighter and whatever's chasing it.
Right. So you're going to have hired mercenaries protecting your ship while you're out there mining or trading or something.
Yeah.
Because that's where you're going to get your offensive firepower, is the hiring of the mercenaries.
Yeah.
Or the protection of the police if you didn't hire them when something bad happens.
Which is fine, and I plan on utilizing that stuff.
The only difference between the mercenaries and the military police is the time frame. The police have to get there when you get attacked. So you would have to wait until they got there from their home system. Or if they had a patrol nearby, then you're in luck. The mercenary, you hire them, they're there already. They're already defending you. You don't have to worry about it. So it's all about how much money do you want to spend or if you want to save money. It goes both ways.
You talk over the weapons that you can use in space. What is with the miniguns and the cannon turrets?
What about them?
Yeah, when you have six weapons on your ship, you must have 2 advanced on planets.
Right.
And have you only 4 in space.
Right.
Ah, it's okay. It's not my case.
Maybe it's not your case. Everyone in the server has to abide by the same rules.
Yeah, but I don't play on planets.
Oh yeah, you ain't gotta worry about that. All you do is build. Don't even worry
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
I was about to say, can Wally even be attacked?
No.
No.
He has
No.
the zone of protection.
No, cannot attack.
Now the way things are gonna work
Yeah,
on
you
Wally's
can attack Wally. All you have to do is figure out how to teleport a ship to him.
No,
Now,
you
the
can
case
fly
with
to
the-
me.
You can fly to him. The way it
Yeah.
works with Wallenstein is that he's going to start off already with like 100 million credits. So he's already
Yeah.
rich beyond belief. So let's say you're on and nobody else is on to trade with at the time. So you could sell everything you mine to him. So that's where he gets his resources, is from all of us trading to him. So he doesn't have to go mine. He just sits there and builds and keeps the ships coming as they go. I just got a message. You can sell your ships to him to get credits back and have him build bigger ones. So let's say you just finished building a ship. So you could fly to him, sell him the ship for the cost of the resources, and then he could deduct that from the amount that would cost for the new ship.
I built ships without weapons. Then can the inspection can put the weapons on the ships
Exactly. I agree with that completely. The players place their own turrets during the inspection, or their mounted guns, whatever the case may be.
Could we sell designs to Wally?
That gets too complicated. I don't know about
Okay.
selling designs.
Okay.
Maybe if you can come up with a system that works and submit it, and then we'll vote on it and talk about it and see if it does. If it works, it works. I'm not gonna say
Right.
no to it. It's just
Well,
done.
I was looking at it as simple, this is my ship, no one else can have my ship because it's, my design, but I could make it available for someone else to have a ship like that if they wanted at, a cost. That's all I was looking at it, as if someone wanted, a similar ship. Or would that be more between players versus not actually with Wally?
Well, you can't bring
Sort
in
of like a designer fee.
you can't bring in
Yeah.
blueprints, so you can't exchange blueprints. But
Yeah.
No, but I
if
could
you
give
sold
Wally
it-
permission to commission a ship for him.
right, like if you could sell the design to Wally for let's see, what's markup? Like 45% of what he's going to sell it for.
Yeah.
Like I said, on this, it sounds interesting. Write up a proposal like how it would work, and get everybody else's opinions and stuff like that, and then we'll sit down and talk about it. If it works and everybody agrees that it works, then we'll try it.
Right.
But give us an idea and put it in the forums. It's a discussion, and type up the proposal of how you see it working and stuff like that, so everybody can see something tangible. And
Right.
get everyone's opinions. And you guys out there that are watching the videos in the live stream, give us your opinions too. Feel free to go over to our forums, join the community, and put your voice in there. Let us know what you think. But I think this is where we're going to have to cut this one, guys. We've already been at this for over an hour. So I hope you guys enjoyed the blog that we have done today for you guys. It's not a weekly one. We actually did this one halfway through the week. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Remember to play hard and game harder. And until next time, take it easy.
Safe journeys.
Later, guys.
Bye bye.